Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliali in this incarnation. I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from today, March 23rd until March 30th. So we have a lot this week. Many things are happening. Of course, the first important event that we have, it is eclipse in Aries. It is a solar eclipse. But after that, we have the entrance of Neptune in Aries. So there is a lot going on. If you are having difficulties to sleep, mixed emotions, revolutionized emotions, it is part of the process. It is part of the transformation that we are invited to. So right now I'm going to go in order as always. Many of the things that I am going to describe are part of the eclipse. So tomorrow, March 24th, we have the conjunction between the Sun and Mercury retrograde in Aries, in the degree 4 of Aries. So Mercury is the planet of communication, mental processes, and the Sun, it is the planet, the luminar of bringing to the consciousness. So there could be something through which we are having a clarity. Perhaps it is a decision, perhaps we have another perspective of a certain conversation, perhaps we are understanding which is the direction that we need to assume. Mercury, it is going to awaken on April 7th, and it moves from the stationary period, the 10th. So that is the moment, there is the moment where you can make the big decisions. But for some people, the eclipse is pushing them to decide right now, to take opportunities to move forward. So always listen to yourself and to the things, and pay attention to the things that you are experimenting, because that is the true guidance. These things, the language of the sky, it is a way of understanding perhaps in which areas we need to wait and in which areas not. So on March 26th, we have the square between Mars in Cancer and Chiron in Aries. I already talked about this. I did a specific video. So this is given the degree 22 of Aries. The previous one, I already mentioned this, happened at the beginning of February, the final end of January. So in its axis, this is about decisions in terms of home, family, emotional nutrition, or projects that represent nutrition, that have the challenge of taking ourselves to the transcendence of fears, insecurities, and conditionings that are that belong to profound wounds. So it is an aspect of opening ourselves to healing and to vulnerability, but also of taking care of what is important in our basis, because Mars in Cancer, it is defensive. I'm not saying, I'm not talking about attacking or entering in a war, but it is about the putting this defense in our inner bases, in topics linked with our home. It is an aspect of a lot of reactivity. So anger, it is going to show where it hurts. This is very important too. So, well, this is part of the eclipse. On March 27th, Venus retrograde turns back to Pisces. So that same day connects with Neptune, that is in the degree 29. This also happened at the beginning of February. I am telling this because these events are going to be connected. They are telling a story. So something could have been revealing at that time, regarding relationships, value, resources, self-love. And now it is a moment to understand with another depth, perhaps. And understanding, when I am talking about Venus and Neptune, it is not understanding with our mind. Mercury, it is also going to come back to Pisces this week, but this is more about understanding with our intuition, understanding with our heart, with our soul. So this is a moment to find another perspective to what we have experimented at that moment, perhaps to let go of finally expectations that are disconnected from reality, idealizations, but also inspiring us, and being creative to descend to the earth what our heart feels, projects, or applying things in our dynamic in relationships, in the relationship with ourselves and with ourselves and with our other people, that help us to materialize connections from spaces that are purely loving, and not from these escapisms from ourselves, because also Venus conjunction Neptune could imply many times, Venus is the planet of pleasure and satisfaction, so it could imply mechanisms of escapism, precisely through sharing with another people, through food, through whatever thing you could use to run away from yourselves, to disconnect from reality. Social media could be also. So it is important to pay attention to that. Right. On March 29th, we have the eclipse Aries in the degree 9. I already talked about this. I'm not going to enter in here, but beyond the transformation regarding our desires, directions, identity, things that we need to initiate, understanding when we are taking action in an impulsive way, and when we need when we need to act, we always need to act in coherence with ourselves, but it is about stopping the impulsivity to really find our center before doing something. So I just wanted to add that this eclipse, it is given in a sextile with Jupiter in Gemini. So mainly the whole transformation, whatever thing you are going through right now, it is for taking you, it is a harmonic aspect, it is for taking you to growth, to expansion, to connections and new ways of approaching this reality. What could happen in here? I just wanted to give this perspective with Jupiter in Gemini. It is that we could have this overcharge of thoughts. It is important also to let go of beliefs in which we have made identity. There could be this overcharge of the mind, like thinking about many things, the future, the past, what I have to do, this direction or this other, this is something very, very Gemini way. And also this could represent opening too many options that we cannot embrace. So it is also about picking picking an option, because to really put the energy in something, because many times we are considering things that actually don't have a divine purpose. So March, that same day, March 29th, Mercury turns back to Pisces, retrograde, and makes a conjunction with Neptune. This happened at the beginning of March, March 2nd. So mainly what I was saying, because it is very close of Venus, this is about understanding what our heart wants right now, to pay attention to our intuition, to understand that not every time we have all the information that we need sometimes to move forward in the uncertainty. And also this could activate mechanisms of confusion and chaos to not leave a comfort zone. This is only to observe that, to pay attention to those things. Okay, on March 30th, we finally have the entrance of Neptune in Aries. This is the big event, and we have the first open until October 22nd, because Neptune is going to come back to Pisces this year. The definite entrance happens in 2026. So we are going to discover Neptune in Aries all together, because no one in here have experimented this transit, at least in this incarnation. So Neptune in Aries, it is about approaching a spiritual path, listening to ourselves. I mean, the knowledge of others in whatever area we need that can be very useful. It is very useful, in fact, because all the knowledge, all the ideas, all that we are operates in the unity. This is what Neptune is telling us. But it is also important to it is important to recognize when there is a limitation, and we need to connect with something that helps us to transcend that. But this is not about seeking for someone else telling us what to do. And this is going to be reinforced by the entrance of Saturn in Aries in May. This thing of taking the responsibility for our own path and our decisions. This is the era in which each one of us needs to occupy their own role, and we have to listen to our intuition to move forward to the new. with our mistakes and our learnings. So it is also a moment to let go of, especially these 2025 aspects of the identity that aren't resonating with our soul and our path. To really express who we are without having to put in a label who we are. It is only about a recognition and essence reveal. So with Neptune in Aries also appear new forms of art. And before making this video, this transmission, the algorithm brought this video to me. I didn't investigate too much the channel yet, but it was about a meditation, a dancing meditation. It was something like freer, but I found it very cool. And I was thinking in these archetypes, because Neptune in Pisces in its domicile, in its house, is like, I am going to close my eyes and I am going to meditate. So Neptune in Aries, it is like, I am going to channel this fire and I am going to move in order to connect with spirit. So I found this, of course, this is perhaps not something entirely new, but I just wanted to use this archetype for you to understand. So new ways of art, new forms of art in every area are going to emerge between these years and among these years. And well, many people also, they are going to turn very massive because Neptune is the massive. They are going to connect with a lot of people. I am talking about this because it is also very important to recognize with which things we are actually resonating and with which things not. What I'm trying to say with this is that there are a lot of people that could turn massive and that could have the power to impact and influence in the collective, because at the time that Neptune enters in Aries, is going to connect with Pluto in Aquarius, but they perhaps don't possess truly altruist intentions, and there are other people that, of course, they do. Because this is part of the duality that we're experimenting here. And this could be very confusing, not only if we are not attending to our intuition, but also if we don't do our spiritual labor, because it is in our own coherence that we are capable of detecting the coherence in others. And I am not saying this to judge, to judge, measure, or competing with other people. On the contrary, I am saying this because this transit is also speaking of great degrees of idealizations that can be blinded. And when we are not willing to see another human being with its imperfections and its lights, it is a form of self-deceit to believe whatever thing we want to believe. And that also translates to not being able to see a shadow in our inner self, inwards. So again, it is not about judging, but identifying, observing. It is also part of the process to go through these things. And well, then this transit could also represent to lose ourselves in the dualities of this earth, and being in a war with everything that is opposing to whatever thing we believe, and even the people that don't possess intentions of love nor service to other human beings in this world, because they are here. We are not living in surrealism, but they are here to help us to reveal light and to understand where we need to invest our energy and where not to. And this is going to be a challenge too. We are all human beings in here with their own imbalances and in their own journey. And this doesn't mean that, because we are in a spiritual path, in a path of returning to ourselves, to the light, to the source, whatever thing you want to call it, there is no one that is above or below somebody else. It is just that we are simply inhabiting our own journey, and there could be things that I experimented that somebody else didn't, and vice versa. And we have a challenge to respect our process and other people's processes. So the ego cannot take these forms of these spiritual or ideological forms to believe that one is better than other. So that has its challenges too, because the more that we are entering in in the path of universal revelation, let's put it this way, there could be phases where we are feeling a lot this sense of being not comprehended. But everything is unity in its core. This is what Neptune is telling us. Everything that we are doing, and that we are capable of channeling in here is for everyone, for us and for everyone. So this is something that we are going to do in common community too, because of Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is telling us that it is very important to turn back to the universal connection, even when we deal with an ego that makes us feel individuals. So, well, I am going to end this video here. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.